Hey everyone, welcome to That's Good Denver. I'm your host, Chris Romeo. And today, a couple things. First, I'll be breaking down the Broncos preseason as Denver finished off 2-1 in the preseason, even though the preseason doesn't matter. And second, I'll be recapping a little bit of my crazy start to my junior year of college at Bethel University. Um, but yeah, that's part of the reason why I have not posted in like 2 weeks. It was when it was still summer before I started school. And so yeah, I'm gonna tell you this by a grain of salt and stuff, and you know my glasses don't have anything to do with it. My head trauma has nothing to do with it. I just need to have reading glasses, I guess. But yeah, so I was pretty sleep deprived for like a couple weeks at the end of summer, and sleep deprived the whole summer, like going to bed super late and stuff, like 4 in the morning. I think even some of my YouTube videos I did with the divisions were at like 2 or 3 in the morning, which is crazy. Um, yeah, I was going to bed super late, and like on the second night before I started school, I decided to pull an all nighter. I've never pulled an all nighter before. I just pulled an all nighter to get my sleep schedule back on track, so I can just go to bed early the next day. Was not a smart decision at all. Don't pull all nighters. Put your sleep schedule back on track. I learned my lesson. Went 32 hours straight without sleeping. It sucked. Finally went to bed for 5 hours for class. Had class, was half asleep all day. Then this is where I got bad. I ended up pulling another all nighter because I still couldn't sleep in my room, and I was sweating and stuff like that. That's really hard for me to sleep. Um, then at that point, I went to bed at 7 p.m. one night, woke up at 3 a.m., and it was a big mess for me, and that's why I got sent to the hospital for like 3 days to get caught up on sleep, and it was a mess, and I think a lot of that had to be me being depressed because, um, 2 years ago my Uncle Don passed away, 4 years ago my dad passed away, and, wouldn't want to, obviously, wouldn't want to lose anybody. Um, this year in 2022, and it's so as life and stuff. I don't want. I love all my family and friends, and I know all my family and friends were worried about me when I was in the hospital. If they hadn't known, I'm sure the ones that did know were very worried for me. So I want to thank you for praying for me and stuff, and get me through that so I can get back to school. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm in my dorm room right now. Um, and yeah, that's about it with that. And I'm getting caught up with a bunch of schoolwork right now, and I'm making good progress. I would say I'm doing my absolute best. Um, so yeah, that's the information I'm gonna tell you about with the hospital situation. I don't think I need to go into any more further information, um, unless I see you in person. But and so the Broncos, they finished 2-1 in the preseason. The first game was against the Cowboys. They won 17-7. They almost pulled off a shutout against them. They were up 17 other than half. Dominated the first half. Josh Johnson, the backup QB, had a really good game. I don't even know if he's still on the roster now. I mean, he's obviously not going to play at all. Hopefully this season. Um, but yeah, they won 17-7, and we just milked the clock in the second half. The second game against the Buffalo Bills, we got destroyed 43-13. I didn't even watch that game because that was actually the day I went to the hospital because I needed to figure out my sleep situation so I could get a sleep schedule for school. Luckily, I'm on one right now. Um, but yeah, lost the game 43-13, and then the last game of the preseason, which was last Saturday, the Broncos won 23-13. Their defense played lights out pretty much the whole game. We trailed at one point really early in the game, I think, but then we took the lead right back, 10-7, after being down 7-3, and we won that game 23-13. Josh Johnson had a couple touchdown passes. None of our starters played. I mean, Mike Boone, the third running back behind Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, got some carries. Played pretty good. He broke a lot of tackles and. So he finished 2-1 in the preseason, and even though it doesn't matter, it's better to win a preseason game and not go 0-3, because I think there's only one team ever to not win a game in the preseason that's won the Super Bowl, and that's the 2006 Indianapolis Colts. They went 0-4 in the preseason. That was with Peyton Manning, and then they ended up somehow winning the Super Bowl that year because they were so good in the regular season. They were a really good team. They even had a great defense that year. Yeah, that's it with the preseason and stuff. And yeah, being sleep deprived is not fun. And I usually don't do this much on my YouTube channel. But I have a Bible verse that's gonna be it's Psalm 23, and I just had it highlighted. Psalm 23 verses 2 through 4. He makes me lie down in great pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Now, if you're having, that's good for you if you have a hard time lying down and falling asleep at night, just rely on the Lord, lean on him, say a prayer and stuff, and, he'll get you through the darkest times. He'll get you through the evil people in your life or the evil situations, because you want to kick the devil out of your life, you want Jesus in your life. Especially if you want to meditate and fall asleep. My biggest thing is when I want to go to sleep is meditate, get my mind off things. And yeah, it should be all good. And yeah, I figured I'd do that Bible verse because I do have a Christian ministry minor at Bethel. And that should help, even though my major is sports studies and this channel is mostly a sports channel. But, it doesn't hurt to have my minor in here and, in this YouTube channel and talk about Christian stuff every once in a while. I want to be a pastor someday. Anyway, so yeah, that's it with that, and that breaks down the preseason pretty much. I mean, not many other teams I really followed this preseason. I mean, I heard there was a bunch of fights that broke out. The Rams and Bengals had a big fight. Aaron Donald's going to be suspended for a while, I hear. That's going to hurt. The Broncos and Cowboys had a fight, and the thing is, the Broncos and Cowboys had a fight, and then like 2 days later, they had a preseason game against each other. I'm happy nobody got suspended, and nobody in the Broncos has gotten hurt really this season, except for Tim Patrick's been our only big loss, but we still got plenty of wide receivers. And I'm excited for the Broncos this season. I haven't been this excited for a Denver Broncos football season since we were the reigning Super Bowl champs back in 2016 after winning Super Bowl 50. One more thing I was going to do in this video, I talk about the sleeping thing and stuff. A thing that came to my mind the other day is I did a list with all 32 teams of their Super Bowl chances, and I'm about to pull that up right now. This will be the last thing for the... So, the Super Bowl 57 odds, I have it 1 through 32. In green, the top 12 teams out of the Super Bowl favorites, would not surprise me at all if these teams won the Super Bowl and hosted the Lombardi Trophy in Arizona this year. In blue, I'll have the dark horse teams. These teams would definitely surprise me if they won the Super Bowl this year. But, I'm definitely giving them a decent shot because I think they're a very dangerous team, and I think these dark horse playoff Super Bowl teams are definitely capable of making it to the playoffs, I think. At least most of them. Then in the red, I have the worst teams, the bottom 8 teams. I have no chance of the Super Bowl. Doesn't mean, they're not getting better or anything, but they're still the worst 8 teams in the league, and I'm giving no shot at hosting the Lombardi Trophy this year. So that being said, my top 12 teams, first I got the Buffalo Bills. I actually have them winning the Super Bowl this year. I think they're everyone's Super Bowl favorites, and, they got the best all-around team in the league this year, so on and so forth. The Bucks at number 2, so, I would have the Bucks at, 4 or 5, but, Tom Brady, this is probably going to be his last year. Why not put him at number 2? If he wins the Super Bowl this year, he is going to retire. I'm, 95% sure, especially since he's already came out of retirement, and he's so old. He's, 44, almost 45. So, yeah, I'd put in the Bucks at number 2. Rams at number 3. And this is me putting this there without thinking about the Aaron Donald situation. I think they're still going to make it to the Super Bowl this year. I think Aaron Donald will play most of the season. He might get suspended like the first 3 games of regular season, but that's about it. And the Rams are going to try to go be back-to-back champions for the first time in 20 years. And then at 4, you got the Kansas City Chiefs. I feel like this is kind of high to put the Chiefs, to be honest. I mean, well, it's fair to say they have the 4th best chance. I mean, they're definitely still a Super Bowl contender, I think, with Patty Mahomes, but I think they have the worst defense in the AFC West. I don't think their defense is any good, especially losing Tyrann Mathieu, and their defense has never really been that great. And Patty Mahomes losing Tyreek Hill. I mean, I don't think they're going to win the division this year. I think the Chargers will. But, the Chiefs, they still have a top 5 chance of winning it all. Then at number 5, you got the Green Bay Packers. This is probably, I'm being very generous at putting the Packers at number 5. I mean, not because they're going to win the division, I think, and I think they're still a Super Bowl contender, but they always choke in the playoffs. At least Aaron Rodgers and the team does. Losing Devontae Adams is going to not only make it worse, probably, and, do you really think this team is going to get to the Super Bowl and win it after losing Aaron Rodgers and, always choking in the playoffs? It would be one great storyline if they did, but, yeah, putting the Packers at number 5, that's a little generous of me. Then at 6, you got the LA Chargers. I think this is the best all-around team in the AFC West. This team, I'm really high on this Chargers team, adding J.C. Jackson, and Justin Herbert's a really good quarterback. He's for real. And it would surprise me a little bit if they won the Super Bowl this year, but I think they're going to win a Super Bowl in the next 3 or 4 years, just like the Bills. Then at number 7, you got your Denver Broncos at number 7. So, yeah, I've already said this before. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, but having them the 7th best chance to win it is pretty reasonable. I think they will make it to the playoffs at like a 5 or 6 seed, maybe even win the division. Adding Russell Wilson, who's always been the missing piece the past couple of years, definitely going to boost that offense. I think they're going to win 11 or 12 games. That's not even me being biased, really. Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, that's one of the best running back duos with some other good wide receivers, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, the number 1 man, and a loaded defense, Patrick Surtain, Ronald Darby, Bradley Chubb if he stays healthy, Randy Gregory, who they added this offseason. And they got one of the best safeties in the league that nobody talks about, Justin Simmons. And yeah, so they should be pretty dang good. And their schedule isn't even that hard, the Broncos is. Then at number 8, you got the Cincinnati Bengals. So yeah, I guess you can call me biased for putting the Broncos ahead of the Bengals in terms of Super Bowl chances, but the Bengals, they might be hung over a little bit from last year, losing that Super Bowl. I think they'll still win their division, to be honest. But, it all just comes down to, the Bengals don't have a good offensive line, and their defense has gotten better. It just comes down to the quarterback play. Joe Burrow, he's still very young. It doesn't mean they can't get back to the Super Bowl and win it, but, I just don't think they'll get back to the Super Bowl like they did last year. I think their run was a little fluky, especially that comeback against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, but Bengals at number 8. Number 9, you got the San Francisco 49ers. A good running game, Deebo Samuel. It'll be a toss-up who starts between Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo, but this 49ers team is very scary, and they even did it to the Packers last year and almost went to the Super Bowl last year against the Rams. Then at number 10, you got the Ravens. I think this is reasonable. I think this is going to be a bounce back year for the Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They should be a pretty dang good team, and I think they'll get back in the AFC playoffs this year. Then you got the Colts at number 11. I actually have them win the division. Matt Ryan's going to definitely help. Wouldn't surprise me if they made it to the AFC Championship game. It wouldn't even really surprise me if they made a Super Bowl run, but it just depends on how much Matty Ice has left in the tank and how far Jonathan Taylor can carry that offense in the playoffs. Then the last Super Bowl favorite at number 12, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. I actually have them win the division over the Cowboys. adding A.J. Brown's going to definitely help. Devontae Smith coming in the second year, so is Jalen Hurts. That offense is going to be pretty dang scary. So, yeah, watch out for Philadelphia. Then I'm just going to go over the dark horse teams that I have and not really talk about the bottom 8 teams because, they're not going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think Lions, Panthers, Bears, Jaguars, Jets, Giants, Falcons, Texans. Those are the worst teams in the league. But your number one dark horse team, this might surprise people, but I actually have the Arizona Cardinals as my number one dark horse. Not just because they're hosting the Super Bowl in their home stadium this year, but, they were the best team in the NFL last year. A lot of people forget 11-0 at one point, and then D-Hop got hurt, and they won't have D-Hop the first 6 games, but then they'll get him back for the second half. Kyler Murray's a really good quarterback. A lot of people are sleeping on this Cardinals team and saying there's a lot of drama going on, but, you should watch out. Then the Browns for my second dark horse team, and I don't know what the heck is going on with this Deshaun Watson situation. He was going to be suspended 6 games, which I thought was fair. Now it's 11 games, and, I don't know if he's going to play the season or not. If he does play, places potential the Browns get in the playoffs, I could see this team making a Super Bowl run. And they got a really good running back duo, a pretty good defense with Myles Garrett. So there's a lot of question marks with the Deshaun Watson situation for the Browns. Then the Cowboys at number 15. I think they'll squeak into the playoffs. The Cowboys will, but I don't think they'll win the division. I think they'll get bounced in the first round like they always do. Their offense is really good, but they lost Amari Cooper, and, the team is a lot going on, and I just don't see it. They're a dark horse Super Bowl team. Let's put it at that. 4, you got the Las Vegas Raiders. Devontae Adams getting paired up with Derek Carr. That's gonna definitely help, especially since they play in college together. But the rest of their team, they got Chandler Jones and Max Crosby on their defense. That's about it. Their secondary, there's a bunch of no names. They're on the outside looking in on this division. That's not even me being biased. They just are. They're not as good as the Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs, I don't think. So I think they'll finish last in the division, but that doesn't even mean they'll miss the playoffs. All 4 AFC West teams could make it to the playoffs. The Vikings at number 5, dark horse team. I think they'll squeak in the playoffs, but it's really hard for me to say they'll go to the Super Bowl. They're kind of on the outside and looking at the NFC. Justin Jefferson has been really good for Kirk Cousins, and that offense is loaded with Dalvin Cook, one of the best running backs in the league. But they're definitely a dark horse team. Then another dark horse team, I got the Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill getting paired up with Tua Tagovailoa, that's definitely gonna help. And that it just depends on Tua and how he performs. I think this Dolphins team is gonna be very close to a playoff spot, if not getting the playoffs. This Dolphins team is scary. Titans at number 6, dark horse. I don't think the Titans are going to win the division. I actually have them missing the playoffs. They lost Julio Jones. They lost A.J. Brown. All they have on their offense is Ryan Tannehill, who's not even really good. And they had Derrick Henry, who's going to have a workload. If the Titans make it to the playoffs this year, Derrick Henry might win an MVP. Then the Saints number 20, they're like the 7th dark horse team. I think the Saints are like in the same situation the Broncos have been the past couple of years. They're a quarterback away. Jameis Winston isn't quite the answer yet. He'll throw touchdown passes, but he'll throw a lot of picks. Their defense is really good. Their offense has some talent. Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas, if he can ever stay healthy. But Saints, they'll be close to a playoff team, and it would surprise me if they made a Super Bowl run. Now you got the Patriots. Mac Jones is there. They haven't done much this offseason. They lost J.C. Jackson. A lot of people are low on the Patriots going into this offseason, unfortunately. And, I'm not super high on them either. Then you got the Steelers towards the bottom of the dark horses teams. I don't really see them winning the Super Bowl this year. They got a young offense. Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky definitely won't win them the Super Bowl, I don't think. Who knows? I could be wrong, though. Steelers, they got a good defense, but it'll be I'd be surprised if they were even a borderline playoff team. I have this team winning like 8 games, and, they're on the outside looking on their division. Sorry to Steelers fans, but, I just don't see great year out of them. They had a great year last year, pretty much, with Big Ben making the playoffs. But I just don't see that happening in a loaded AFC this year. Washington, second to last dark horse team. Carson Wentz will be okay, but not good enough. Chase Young, I heard something got hurt the other day. Hopefully he's not out for the season like last year. That defense is really good. They got Terry McLaurin, who's a really good wide receiver. If Washington made a run at the Super Bowl or something, they would have to have a Cinderella season like they did 2 years ago, where they won the division, almost took down Tom Brady, and a lot of crazy stuff would have to happen. Then, surprisingly, the last dark horse team is Seattle Seahawks. I mean, nobody expects the Seahawks to be good this year except for Seahawks fans who are salty about Russell Wilson. But the Seahawks, at most, I think they'll win like 8 or 9 games. They could maybe push for a playoff spot. They honestly could with DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett, and Drew Lock throwing on the ball. But I see the Seahawks team going like 5-12 or 6-11. I just have them as a last dark horse team because I think they will be better than some of these teams like the Lions, Panthers, and Bears. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, yeah, a lot of these dark horse teams, the only teams I can see actually winning the Super Bowl out of dark horse teams are the top 5 teams from the Vikings to the Cardinals. Like, I wouldn't be that surprised. And maybe you can even add the Dolphins and Titans in there, but then, from 19-1, those teams could win the Super Bowl. And, that's it. That's 1 through 32. And, yeah, these are my Super Bowl favorites. And, it goes from pretty much goes from best team in the league, the Bills, all the way down. Broncos, number 7, your Broncos. Colts at 11. Cardinals, dark horse, number 13. List goes on. Steelers, 22. Then it goes on. Lions, who getting better this year. And you got the Falcons and Texans, the two worst teams, and the Texans at number 32. The Bills are the favorites. That's it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that video. Sorry I haven't posted in a few weeks. I was sleep deprived. But, yeah, glad the football season's here, baby. Go Broncos. I'll do a tour around my dorm room real quick. I've posted it on my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's my TV that's set up. The dope Broncos hair with hat and stuff. Got my hat set up in there with my clothes. Got the Avalanche who won the Stanley Cup champs this year, Stanley Cup Finals. And my hat's got the Super Bowl 50 plaque over here. Hopefully they can get another Super Bowl plaque this year in Glendale, Arizona. Put it right there. Hopefully, who knows? But that's it, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment. I'm Chris Romeo, and that's Good Denver. Good night, everyone.